Hey there, fellow knowledge seekers. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to tap that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our future deep dives. Today we're tackling a topic that's relevant for everyone, but especially for those of you getting ready for the UPSC exam,
Oh,
or
absolutely.
anyone just brushing up on their science and technology for GS3.
Right.
We're diving into communicable and non-communicable diseases, and we've got a fantastic expert on board to help guide us through this intricate world.
Well, thanks for having me. It's a fascinating area, really. Just understanding how diseases work, how they spread, and what we can do to combat them. It's important not just for exams, right?
Oh, for sure.
This is for making informed decisions about our own health and the health of our communities.
Absolutely. We're going deep into our source material today.
Right.
It's called Diseases, Communicable and Non-Communicable Health Threats, Tuberculosis to COVID-19. Get ready to unpack some complex medical jargon, discover surprising facts about diseases from tuberculosis to COVID-19, and explore how India is tackling these health challenges head-on.
Sounds good. So let's start with, well, let's define what we mean by disease.
Okay.
Basically, it's any condition that disrupts the body's normal functioning, leading to specific signs and symptoms.
Right.
Now, the interesting part is that these disruptions can come from external factors like infections, think bacteria or viruses, or internal factors
Mhm.
like autoimmune disorders where the body's own immune system goes a bit haywire.
Okay, that makes sense. So within this vast landscape of diseases, we have two main categories, communicable and non-communicable. Can you break those down for us?
Sure, communicable diseases are the ones that can spread from person to person or even from animals to humans. Think of it like passing a note in class, except instead of note, it's a virus or bacteria making its way around.
And the methods of transmission can be pretty diverse, right?
Yeah.
We're talking everything from a simple cough or sneeze to getting bitten by a disease-carrying mosquito.
Yeah. It's remarkable how these tiny organisms have evolved such clever ways to spread. Like, for example, think about touching a doorknob contaminated with the Norwalk virus.
Oh, yeah.
That's all it takes to pick up an unwelcome stowaway. Or consider malaria transmitted through the bite of an infected mosquito. These are just a couple of examples of, well, the intricate dance between disease and transmission.
You kind of paints a rather vivid picture of how interconnected we all are, even on a microscopic level.
It does.
Now, let's delve into some specific examples, starting with bacterial diseases. Tuberculosis, or TB, is a major global health concern, isn't it?
It is,
Yeah.
unfortunately. In fact, TB ranks higher than HIV/AIDS as a leading cause of death from a single infectious agent worldwide. It's a sobering statistic that really underscores the urgency of addressing this disease.
And India, in particular, bears a significant burden when it comes to TB. We have the highest number of TB cases globally. Definitely
Right.
something to pay attention to, especially for those prepping for the UPSC.
That's right. And it's not just about the numbers. TB is often called a disease of poverty,
Okay.
highlighting the complex interplay between socioeconomic factors and its prevalence. Overcrowding, malnutrition, limited access to healthcare, all of these contribute to the spread of TB, particularly in low-income communities.
So it's not just a medical issue.
Yeah.
It's a societal one as well.
Precisely. Now, another crucial point about TB is that it can be latent,
Right.
meaning someone can carry the bacteria without showing any symptoms.
Oh, wow.
This makes early detection tricky, but all the more important. If TB becomes active, you'll start seeing those telltale signs: a persistent cough that just won't quit, chest pain, even night sweats. These are red flags that warrant immediate medical attention.
That's a good reminder for all of us to, pay attention to our bodies.
Definitely.
So if someone does have active TB, what are the treatment options?
Well, the good news is that most cases of TB are curable with a 6-month course of medication.
Okay.
However, there's a growing challenge: drug-resistant TB. Think of it like bacteria evolving, becoming immune to our usual arsenal of antibiotics. We have MDR-TB, resistant to multiple drugs, XDR-TB, which is even more resistant, and the truly concerning TDR-TB, which stands for totally drug-resistant PB.
Oh, wow.
It's a race against time to develop new treatment strategies.
It's unsettling to think about these bacteria outsmarting our medical advancements.
It is.
But are there any global initiatives working to combat PB?
Yes, absolutely. The World Health Organization has launched the NTB strategy,
Okay.
an ambitious plan with a bold goal: to eliminate TB deaths, disease, and suffering by 2035. They're focusing on a multi-pronged approach: prevention through vaccination, early and accurate diagnosis, effective treatment regimens, and of course, research and development of new drugs and
It
vaccines.
sounds like a very comprehensive plan.
Hmm.
And what about India? Is the government taking any proactive steps to address TB within our borders?
India has been quite proactive, actually.
Okay.
We have the Nikshay system,
Hmm.
a digital platform that tracks TB cases across the country, enabling better monitoring and management of the disease. And then there's a TrueNat test.
Oh.
This is a real game changer. This revolutionary diagnostic tool can detect TB and rifampicin resistance in just 1 hour, significantly speeding up the diagnosis process.
That's remarkable.
Yeah.
So, aside from TB, are there any other bacterial threats we should be aware of?
Well, there's diarrhea, which can be acute, usually resolving on its own, or chronic, requiring medical attention. Then we have anthrax, which is more common in animals,
Okay.
but transmissible to humans through contact with infected animals or their products. It can manifest as skin lesions with a characteristic dark scab. Lastly, there's leprosy, also known as Hansen's disease, which, well, it primarily affects the skin, nerves, eyes, and respiratory tract.
Oh, wow.
It's curable with multi-drug therapy, but early diagnosis is crucial to prevent disabilities.
It's a good reminder that knowledge is power when it comes to protecting ourselves from these bacterial threats.
It is.
Now let's switch gears and venture into the world of viral diseases. Get ready for a whole new set of microscopic challenges.
The realm of viruses is indeed a fascinating one, albeit a bit daunting at times. These tiny entities, often considered to be on the borderline between living and non-living, have the ability to hijack our cells and wreak havoc.
Right.
And one of the most well-known viral pandemics is, of course, HIV/AIDS.
HIV/AIDS is definitely a topic that deserves attention, not just from a medical standpoint, but also from a social and economic perspective.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a very complex issue with far-reaching consequences.
Absolutely. HIV stands for human immunodeficiency virus, and it specifically targets a type of white blood cell called CD4 cells. These cells play a crucial role in our immune system's defense against infections. As HIV destroys more and more of these cells, the body's immune system weakens,
Right.
leaving it vulnerable to, well, what you call opportunistic infections. This stage of advanced immune deficiency is what we call AIDS, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome.
So it's not the virus itself that directly kills,
Right.
but rather the weakening of the immune system that leaves the body susceptible to other infections.
That's a very important point. And unfortunately, there's currently no cure for HIV. However, we've made significant strides in managing the virus and improving the quality of life for people living with HIV. Early detection through tests like ELISA, that's the enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay, is crucial. This test can detect HIV antibodies in the blood, allowing for early intervention and treatment.
Speaking of ELISA tests, I recently came across a news snippet about India developing its first indigenous ELISA test for coronavirus.
Oh, wow.
That's a pretty big deal, isn't it?
It is. It highlights India's growing capabilities in medical research and diagnostics, which is essential for tackling emerging health threats like COVID-19.
So going back to HIV treatment, what are the current options available?
Well, the standard treatment for HIV is called HAART, which stands for Highly Active Antiretroviral Therapy. It involves a combination of 3 or more antiretroviral drugs that work together to suppress HIV replication. Think of it like a team of superheroes, each with a specific power, working together to keep the villain, in this case the virus, at bay.
Oh.
This approach has been remarkably effective in slowing down the progression of the disease and allowing people with HIV to live longer, healthier lives.
It's amazing how medical science has evolved to tackle this complex virus.
It is.
Now, shifting gears to a disease where we've seen tremendous progress in eradication. Polio.
Ah, yes. Polio, a true success story in public health. This highly contagious viral disease, primarily affecting young children, can lead to paralysis and even death.
Right.
But thanks to widespread vaccination efforts, we've witnessed a dramatic decline in polio cases worldwide.
I vividly remember those pulse polio immunization drives in India. It felt like a national mission, with everyone coming together to ensure that every child received those life-saving drops.
Those campaigns were instrumental in India's journey to becoming polio-free. The country was officially declared polio-free back in 2014, a testament to the power of collective action and public health initiatives.
It's definitely a moment of pride for India,
For sure.
and a beacon of hope for other nations battling polio. So, can you tell us a bit more about the polio vaccine itself?
Well, there are actually two types of polio vaccines.
Okay.
We have OPV, which is the oral polio vaccine, and IPV, the inactivated poliovirus vaccine.
Hmm.
OPV contains a weakened form of the virus and is administered orally, while IPV contains a killed virus and is given as an injection.
And I've heard that IPV is now the preferred option. Is there a reason for that?
You're right. While both vaccines are effective, IPV has the advantage of eliminating the risk of vaccine-derived poliovirus. This can occur in rare cases with OPV. It's a safer choice, especially in countries with high immunization coverage.
So we covered bacterial threats, a major viral pandemic, and a success story in disease eradication. But our viral journey continues.
It does.
What's next on the agenda?
We're about to venture into mosquito territory,
Oh.
where we'll encounter diseases like Zika, dengue, and Japanese encephalitis. These are all transmitted through the bite of infected mosquitoes, and they can cause a range of health problems, from mild fever to severe complications.
Zika in particular gained notoriety a few years back due to its potential link to birth defects.
Yes, Zika can indeed cause serious birth defects if a pregnant woman is infected.
Right.
There's no specific treatment for Zika, and preventative measures like mosquito control and avoiding travel to affected areas are crucial.
And dengue is another mosquito-borne menace that's quite prevalent, especially in tropical regions. I've heard firsthand accounts of the agonizing joint pain it can cause.
Yeah, dengue is aptly nicknamed breakbone fever for that very reason.
Wow.
It can sometimes develop into a more severe form called dengue hemorrhagic fever, which can be life-threatening.
Oh, wow.
Thankfully, we do have a vaccine for Japanese encephalitis, which is included in India's universal immunization program.
That's reassuring to know.
Yeah.
Now, let's shift our focus from mosquito-borne illnesses to another group of viral heavyweights.
Okay.
Flu, Nipah, and coronaviruses. These names have become all too familiar in recent times.
Indeed, they have. We're all too familiar with the flu, or influenza, which causes those seasonal bouts of fever, cough, and body aches. It's important to note that influenza viruses are constantly evolving,
Yeah.
making it a challenge to stay ahead of them with vaccines. We have different types of influenza viruses. A and B are the usual suspects behind seasonal epidemics, while C typically causes milder symptoms, and D primarily affects cattle.
It always seems like there's a new flu strain making headlines every year.
That's because these viruses are masters of adaptation. They're constantly mutating and reassorting their genetic material.
Right.
This makes it a continuous battle to develop effective vaccines that can keep up with these viral shapeshifters.
And then there's Nipah virus, which has a rather ominous reputation. It's zoonotic, meaning it can jump from animals to humans, right?
Yes, Nipah virus is a zoonotic virus primarily found in fruit bats. It can spread to humans through contact with infected bats or their secretions, as well as through contaminated food or contact with infected pigs. Nipah virus infections can cause a range of symptoms, from mild respiratory illness to severe encephalitis or inflammation of the brain.
It's a stark reminder of the interconnectedness of human, animal, and environmental health.
It is.
Now, on to coronaviruses.
Yeah.
A family of viruses that has dominated global headlines for the past few years.
Coronaviruses have indeed become a household name thanks to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Right.
These viruses are known for their crown-like appearance under a microscope.
Okay.
Hence the name corona, meaning crown in Latin. Coronaviruses can cause a wide range of illnesses in humans, from the common cold to more severe respiratory diseases like SARS, severe acute respiratory syndrome, MERS, Middle East respiratory syndrome, and of course, COVID-19.
And what makes coronaviruses particularly concerning is their ability to cross species barriers.
Exactly. SARS is believed to have originated in bats and then spread to civet cats before infecting humans.
Wow.
MERS also likely originated in bats and then spread to camels before making the jump to humans.
Right.
And COVID-19 is thought to have originated in bats as well, although the intermediate animal host is still being investigated.
It's both fascinating and alarming how these viruses can make the leap from animals to humans,
It is.
highlighting the importance of understanding and respecting ecological boundaries.
Absolutely. It's a complex interplay, and disturbances in these ecological balances can have significant consequences for human health. Now, before we move on from the viral realm, there's one more threat we need to address.
Okay.
Hepatitis.
Hepatitis, the inflammation of the liver, can be caused by various factors,
Yeah.
including viral infections, alcohol abuse, certain medications, and autoimmune diseases.
That's correct. When we talk about viral hepatitis, there are 5 main types: A, B, C, D, and E. Hepatitis B and C are the most common culprits behind chronic hepatitis and are responsible for the majority of hepatitis-related deaths worldwide.
Wow.
Hepatitis A and E typically cause acute infections that are less likely to become chronic.
And the modes of transmission vary depending on the type, right?
Yes, they do. Hepatitis A and E are primarily spread through contaminated food and water, highlighting the importance of proper sanitation and hygiene.
Okay.
Hepatitis B is transmitted through contact with infected blood and bodily fluids, such as during unprotected sex or sharing needles. Hepatitis C is mainly spread through blood-to-blood contact,
Well,
often through sharing needles or receiving unscreened blood transfusions. And hepatitis D is unique in that it can only infect people who are already infected with hepatitis B.
oh, wow.
It's a diverse group of viruses with distinct transmission routes. Thankfully, we have vaccines available for hepatitis A, B, and E.
That's certainly good news.
It is.
We've journeyed through a diverse landscape of bacterial and viral threats.
Yeah.
But our exploration of the microbial world isn't over yet.
Yes.
Right. We're now venturing into the realm of parasites. Tiny organisms that have mastered the art of survival by living in or on a host organism. The world of parasites is a fascinating one, albeit a bit unnerving at times. These organisms have evolved some remarkable strategies to survive and thrive, often at the expense of their unsuspecting hosts.
They're truly masters of adaptation, often relying on complex life cycles that involve multiple hosts and intricate interactions with their environment. And one of the most notorious parasitic diseases, particularly relevant in the context of global health, is malaria.
Malaria is a major public health challenge, especially in tropical and subtropical regions where the climate is conducive to the mosquitoes that transmit the parasite.
Right.
It's a disease that has plagued humanity for centuries, causing debilitating symptoms like fever, chills, body aches, and even death.
It's caused by a tiny parasite called Plasmodium, which infects red blood cells and disrupts their normal functioning. Malaria can lead to severe complications like anemia, organ damage, and even cerebral malaria, a life-threatening condition affecting the brain.
It's a stark reminder that seemingly small organisms can have a profound impact on human health.
They can.
But there's some promising news on the horizon.
Yes, absolutely. We've witnessed a historic breakthrough in the fight against malaria with the development of the world's first vaccine against a parasitic disease, Mosquirix.
Wow.
It's a significant milestone in our efforts to combat this ancient foe.
This vaccine is a game changer, offering hope for millions of people living in malaria-prone regions. And to add to the good news, Algeria and Argentina have recently been declared malaria-free by the World Health Organization.
These achievements highlight the power of sustained public health efforts, innovative research, and global collaboration in tackling even the most challenging diseases.
It's a testament to human ingenuity and our unwavering determination to conquer these microscopic adversaries. Now, moving on from malaria, let's shed light on another parasitic threat that often gets overlooked: Kala-Azar, also known as black fever.
Kala-Azar is a neglected tropical disease that deserves more attention, especially in regions where it's endemic. It's caused by a parasite called Leishmania, which is transmitted through the bite of infected sandflies.
And there are different types of leishmaniasis, right?
Yes, there are 3 main types: visceral, cutaneous, and mucocutaneous. Visceral leishmaniasis is the most severe form, affecting internal organs like the spleen, liver, and bone marrow.
Wow.
It can be fatal if left untreated. Cutaneous leishmaniasis affects the skin, causing sores and ulcers, while mucocutaneous leishmaniasis affects the mucous membranes of the nose, mouth, and throat.
It's a diverse group of diseases with varying degrees of severity, highlighting the complex interplay between the parasite, the host, and the environment.
Exactly. And it's important to note that access to diagnosis and treatment for Kala-Azar remains a major challenge in many affected regions,
Right.
particularly in low-income countries where healthcare infrastructure is limited.
It underscores the need for continued investment in research, public health programs, and access to healthcare to address these neglected diseases that disproportionately affect vulnerable populations.
Absolutely. Now, having explored the world of communicable diseases from bacteria to viruses and parasites, let's shift our focus to another major category: non-communicable diseases, often referred to as NCDs. These are chronic conditions that are not caused by infectious agents and are not directly transmissible from person to person.
NCDs are often called lifestyle diseases because they're linked to factors like diet, physical activity, tobacco use, and alcohol consumption. They're a growing global health concern, accounting for a significant proportion of deaths worldwide.
That's right, the four major NCDs: cardiovascular diseases, cancers, chronic respiratory diseases, and diabetes are responsible for millions of deaths each year. And what's particularly concerning is that NCDs are on the rise, even in low and middle income countries where communicable diseases were once the predominant health challenge.
It's a shift in the global disease burden that demands a multifaceted approach to prevention, early detection, and management.
Absolutely. And India is no exception to this trend. According to the Indian Council of Medical Research, NCDs contributed to over 61% of deaths in India in 2016, up from 37.9% in 1990.
Wow.
This highlights the growing impact of NCDs on the Indian healthcare system and the need for comprehensive strategies to address this challenge.
It's a wake-up call for all of us to prioritize our health and make conscious choices to reduce our risk of developing these chronic conditions. Factors like maintaining a healthy weight, engaging in regular physical activity, adopting a balanced diet, and avoiding tobacco and excessive alcohol consumption can go a long way in preventing NCDs.
You've hit the nail on the head. Prevention is key when it comes to NCDs. Early detection and timely intervention are also crucial to manage these conditions effectively and improve quality of life.
And it's encouraging to see India taking proactive steps to address the growing burden of NCDs through various national health initiatives.
Absolutely. Programs like the National Program for Prevention and Control of Cancer, Diabetes, Cardiovascular Diseases, and Stroke, NPCDCS, are aimed at strengthening healthcare infrastructure, raising awareness, and promoting early detection and management of NCDs. The Ayushman Bharat scheme, with its focus on providing health insurance coverage to vulnerable populations, is also playing a crucial role in improving access to healthcare for NCD management.
These initiatives highlight India's commitment to tackling the growing challenge of NCDs and ensuring that quality healthcare is accessible to all.
It's a complex and evolving landscape, requiring a multi-pronged approach involving government policies, public health programs, community engagement, and individual responsibility. We all have a role to play in promoting health and well-being, both for ourselves and for our communities.
Well said. As we wrap up this deep dive into the world of diseases, let's take a moment to recap some of the key takeaways. We've explored the diverse spectrum of communicable diseases, from the microscopic world of bacteria and viruses to the fascinating, albeit sometimes unsettling, realm of parasites. We've delved into the global health challenges posed by diseases like TB, HIV/AIDS, and malaria, highlighting the importance of research, public health initiatives, and global collaboration in tackling these threats. And we've discussed the growing burden of non-communicable diseases, emphasizing the importance of prevention, early detection, and lifestyle modifications to reduce our risk.
It's been an enlightening journey through the complexities of human health, highlighting the intricate interplay between biological, social, economic, and environmental factors. It's a reminder that our health is interconnected, and that addressing these challenges requires a holistic and collaborative approach.
Thank you so much for guiding us through this fascinating and informative deep dive. And to all our listeners, we hope you found this exploration of diseases valuable. Remember, knowledge is power, and understanding these health challenges empowers us to make informed decisions for ourselves and advocate for a healthier world.
It's been a pleasure sharing this journey with you all.
And don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell so you don't miss out on future deep dives. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay healthy.